Hi students, in this video we will discuss about the induced field EMF. So let's see what is the induced field EMF and why it is called as induced field EMF. What this word field signifies here. Consider a conducting loop, conducting circular coil type thing. Say this one, this is conducting coil. Which is attached to one galvanometer. We know whenever current flows through any branch, galvanometer containing branch, it shows the deflection. So here it is galvanometer. And it is placed in a uniform magnetic field. Uniform magnetic field it is placed. Now, it has been observed that as soon as magnetic field changes, as magnetic field starts changing with time, not with position, with time. Then galvanometer shows the deflection. B stops changing, galvanometer deflection disappear. As again we start changing the magnetic field, galvanometer again starts showing the deflection. Means when the magnetic field is changing with time, galvanometer shows the deflection. Magnetic field becomes constant with time, deflection of galvanometer disappear. This is what observed. And the galvanometer will show the deflection only when current flows through it. And current flows because of the motion of the charge, movement of the charge. And the movement of charge will take place because of some force acting on it. Here, magnetic force is not going to be there because the electrons are moving only with random velocity. So electrons cannot have the magnetic force. So only electric force is possible. But we have seen electric force is possible only because of the electric field. And electric field up till now we used to believe that it is only due to the charge, excess charge, but here no excess charge. So here that electrostatic field is not possible. Then by making some analogy with the discovery of the magnetism, etc., people have suggested that this particular deflection of the galvanometer is arising because of a special type of electric field. A special type of electric field has been developed because of the time varying nature of magnetic field. Something is happening because of the time varying nature of magnetic field. Time varying nature of magnetic field is producing an electric field. And this electric field is not same as the field we studied in electrostatics. This is different from electrostatic field. In various aspects it has been observed it is different. It is not due to charge particle, it is arising due to time varying nature of magnetic field, and some more things has been found which makes it clear that it is very much different from the electrostatic field what we people have studied in the electrostatic chapter. And if some induced electric field, they call it as induced electric field, and if some electric field has been developed in this particular conducting loop, then this induced electric field has caused a potential difference, an EMF, to develop between 2 points. And this EMF has causes the movement of the charge, which causes the deflection to show by the galvanometer. This induced electric field, this EMF induced due to this induced electric field which is arising due to time varying nature of the magnetic field is we give by this expression. The EMF induced because of the time varying nature of magnetic field is given by this one, where this ENC is the induced electric field. NC is representing non-conservative because it is non-conservative in nature. So in short, I am summarizing it. When a conducting loop is placed in a uniform time varying magnetic field, a deflection has been shown by the galvanometer. This particular experiment makes the scientists to believe that in this particular way, another type of electric field has been developed whose cause is the time varying nature of magnetic field, and they call it as the induced electric field or the non-conservative electric field. This one. Now there are some important points related to this which I'll explain you. First thing, there are two types of field. One is the induced electric field and other is the this electrostatic field. Induced electric field is produced due to time varying nature of magnetic field, while the electrostatic field, what we have studied in the chapter electrostatic, that field has been developed due to the stationary charges. Electrostatic field was conservative in nature, but induced electric field is non-conservative in nature. Means the work done by the induced electric field along a closed loop is non-zero. Work done by the induced electric field along a closed path is non-zero. E is non-conservative while the electrostatic field is conservative. Induced electric field lines, if you want to form loop lines, electric field lines for induced electric field, then they can form the closed loop, while the electrostatic field lines can never form the closed loop. These are the major differences between the conservative field, electrostatic field, and the non-conservative field, that is induced electric field. Remember these points very clearly. Now comes a very important point. Now let us assume in this experiment, if instead of conducting coil, non-conducting coil will be taken. Instead of this, non-conducting coil will be taken. Then what will happen? Then quite obvious you will say galvanometer won't show the deflection. Quite obvious, this is clear, galvanometer won't show the deflection. But if we want to comment on the induced electric field, will it be there or not? Then the answer will be yes, it will be there. Try to understand this point in very much depth. Existence of induced electric field, say for example, say in this region, magnetic field is present and this magnetic field is varying with time. It is varying with time. Then time varying magnetic field will produce the induced electric field. Then induced electric field will be produced. Now, if magnetic field varies with time, induced electric field will be there. But we will be able to see only if we keep some conducting path with a galvanometer. It shows the deflection, only then we will be able to observe. But in reality, even if it is not there, then also the induced field will be present everywhere. Outside also, where no magnetic field, there also it will be present. Induced field will be present. The way the placing of the conducting loop is only making us to confirm that okay, something is happening. But in actual, presence of the conducting loop or non-conducting loop or any material object is not present, not needed to have the induced electric field. To have the induced electric field, only one concept, only one thing is required: time varying nature of the magnetic field. So read this statement. it is very important. Existence of induced electric field is independent of the presence or absence of any medium, whether conducting or non-conducting, in the time-varying magnetic field region. Time-varying magnetic field region is there, induced electric field will develop whether any medium is present or not. Even it will present in vacuum also. We have placed the conducting loop in the first concept, first part, only to make sure that we are able to see if some change is happening and we want to see that change, then we need some device for that. Only for that purpose, that conducting loop has been kept here. So if somebody asks, in this particular region, magnetic field is varying with time, will the induced field EMF develop between these 2 points or place some non-conducting rod? What is the EMF developed across AB? And then they say if this is conducting, then what is the answer? And third case, if there is nothing, only 2 space points A and B are there, then what is the EMF induced between these 2 points? Then in all 3 cases, answer will be same, because it is independent of the presence or absence of any medium present there. Now here, one more thing you take, a small situation. This green colored circle, it is a solid cylindrical type region in which magnetic field is present into the board of the paper. And this magnetic field is uniform but time varying. Magnetic field is uniform but time varying. Then it will produce the induced electric field. Now we are considering two particular points. One point here, this point I am considering, and one point here. One is inside the cylindrical region where the magnetic field is present. One is outside the cylindrical region where the magnetic field is not present. Field is uniform but varying with time. Now for inside point, field is present up to capital R. Field is present up to this distance here. And we are interested in finding the induced electric field at these 2 points. One inner point, one outer point. Then for inner point, the formula will be induced electric field will be E equal to R by 2 dB by dt. dB by dt is the rate at which the field, magnetic field, is varying with time. And for any outside point, for this outside point, outside to the cylindrical region where the magnetic field is present. For this outside point, we have the magnetic field as, induced electric field as R square by 2R, capital R square upon 2R. Capital R is the radius of the cylindrical region in which the field is present. Small r is the distance from that axis, from the axis of the cylindrical region to the point where we are interested in finding the field, into dB by dt. Capital R square upon 2 into small r into dB by dt. This is for outside point. This is for inside point. And if the magnetic field is, this magnetic field is increasing, then the induced electric field will cause the current in such a way that it will try to decrease this increasing field as per the Lenz's law, same way. So the direction of the induced electric field is shown by green arrows if the field is increasing. If the magnetic field is increasing, the direction of the induced electric field will be this one, as shown by the green arrows. And if the magnetic field is decreasing with time, then the direction of the induced electric field will be shown by the red arrows, this one and this one, right? And the graph of this induced electric field versus small r is as shown in the figure, this one. For up to capital R, means up to the cylindrical region where the field is present, it is linear function, and beyond that it is going to be inversely proportional to R function, this function. and at the surface at this particular point the induced electric field is going to be maximum equal to R by 2 dV by dt. Right, this formula is applicable only for when the electric field in magnetic field is present in the cylindrical region, situations are symmetrical, uniform. In other cases we don't have to apply. But if the field is having the infinite extent, etc., then people use this formula in that cases also. So that's all for now. We'll continue our discussion in the next video.